Should be live. Man,
Live waiting in the chat, dude.
man, did you know
Awesome.
that Discord has like the link, like it's like a setting in Discord where the link expires every day. So like you have to keep putting in a new link to the Discord. So I was getting messages from people saying like, "Hey, I can't join your Discord. Like, why is the link expired?" So I looked
Yeah, we
into
we
it.
talked about this. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so yesterday I'm like, okay, I need to try and figure out how to get a permanent code. So hopefully the one we have in there right now is permanent, but we'll see.
Lots of big news,
Yeah, we
Mike.
got some news
Lots
today.
of lots of big news.
Shane's already on the news train. Huge trade.
Huge trade. Yeah.
We'll get some
I
people
mean,
in here, and I'll say my take. I think
okay.
I have a pretty different stance. We'll see.
Yeah, there are big MMA fights tonight too, Mike. I don't know if you're planning on watching, but the McGregor fights tonight, so
Yeah,
I'll be
I'm
watching.
gonna watch it. If you guys want to hear a funny story, last night at the dinner table, my dad was like telling my mom about the fights. He's like, "Yeah, Connor McDavid's fighting tonight." My mom goes, "Isn't he a hockey player?" He goes, "No, no, that McDavid, the UFC fighter, he's fighting tonight. Big money on the
Oh
line." And
my
I just stood
god.
up from my dinner table and walked away. I just walked away. I said, "Nope, this
Oh
isn't
my
happening
god.
tonight. We're not talking about. We're not getting McGregor mixed up with McDavid. It's just too much for me." But yeah, I'm excited. I think we're gonna try and get it here at home. I mean, we're all in lockdown tonight, so
Yeah, exactly. Um, I've got a good site that I use. If you guys can't get it for whatever reason, just message me and I'll send you a link.
yeah. If you guys aren't in the Discord, we definitely have some talk about the MMA fights. I'm excited. It's nice. It's a fun sport. My brother, like he like is into karate. Like he has his black belt, so he like really respects the fighters and like the ground game and the technique and
Wow.
everything, which is like
Wow.
completely different than everyone else. Like everyone else just likes it for all the punching and hitting, but like he loves the
Yeah,
technique and all the like the different moves that they do. It's so cool. Just such a different way to look at it.
I agree.
Would you guys get rid of Yandel right now? I mean, you could probably still trade him. He definitely has a name value, and he has like 2 points. So I think you can actually move him for somebody. Maybe Pedersen. We'll get into that.
Fuck, dude.
All right. So I guess we have 17 in here. So we'll talk about the news before we start the Draftkings. There's only 4 games today, so this is gonna be a little bit shorter of a stream. But so big trade Dubois for Line. I mean, we can talk about the other pieces in the trade, but I think we'll just stick to the big two. So yeah, everyone saw what happened with Dubois. He put no effort in last game. Torts is just pissed off, sat him on the bench the entire time. So my take is that I think Runyan, sorry, I can't pronounce that name, but he talked about it, and I just think that Torts is gonna run that guy to the ground, and then Line is just not gonna sign in Columbus. I just can't see him playing for Torts. Like Torts is so hard on people that don't give effort or like have distractions outside of just hockey, and I think everyone knows that how bad Linus Fortnite addiction was and how that was affecting his play. So I can see the same thing happening with Line, and I think Marion Gabrick said it in a tweet like superstars just aren't meant to play for Torts, and that's just facts at this point. You saw, well, I wouldn't say Bobrovsky's a superstar goaltender by any means, but you saw Panarin, Bobrovsky, and now Dubois are all off Columbus. But yeah, I think Dubois is going to be fine on Winnipeg. But my guess, my hot take is that Winnipeg's going to trade Dubois to Minnesota for a defense because Winnipeg needs defense more than they need offense at this point. So I think Minnesota has no centers on their team. I think they have Bukestad center one, and then who's center two? Victor Rask.
Yeah.
Can't even remember. Like it's just players that should not be playing on your first and second line. And then they have Suter, Spurgeon, Brodin, Dumba. Like one of those guys can easily be traded for Dubois. So that's my guess, and that's my take. What do you have to say about it?
My hot take was that uh, Columbus was going to trade Laine, and his contract is up at the end of the season. I think like the reason why they did this deal now was just literally out of desperation. Because like if you're the Jets and you're getting Dubois for giving up like Laine he's one of the few people in the NHL that can score 40 to 50 goals a season. Like we know that, but he's also brutal defensively, and we know that as well. So if you get that type of like liability off your team, regardless, I don't think that team needs more goal scoring with Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers, and now you're adding a guy like Dubois who can also put the puck in the net, but is a lot more sound defensively, makes the middle of your ice a lot better. Um, like that's a no-brainer for the Jets, right? And the reason why Columbus was so desperate to move him was because of the situation with Torts, right? So I'm thinking Columbus might actually move Laine before the end of the season, just simply because like if you look at their team right now, you've got Max Domi, who you brought in off the first off of the end of this past end of season, um, and you don't have anybody else up the middle. Like you have Texier, Riley Nash. Like who's playing center on
I
this
don't
team?
even know, man. They have no centers either.
They got Roslovic, but I don't know how. Obviously, he was a first round draft pick, but I don't know how he's going to come in and immediately make an
He
impact.
won't. I don't think he will.
And when you got guys like Werenski and Jones on your back end, and you're just trying to start the buildup after losing Panarin and Bobrovsky, especially like Merzlikins and Korpsalov coming into and done a good job, but like I feel like this team is trying to like put some kind of core group of players together, and I can't see Laine coming in and really like he's gonna make an impact. Obviously, like he's gonna score, but unless, like you said, unless Torts somehow makes him and like puts so much pressure on him that he just turns into a diamond at both ends of the ice,
No,
I don't see Columbus really like benefiting too much from this. I just look at their centers and I have no clue what they're doing.
for sure. See the Buccos in chat going at it right now. So Draftkings last night. Sorry guys, we didn't stream yesterday. I was out most of the day. Had a friend's birthday that we were just doing some stuff. Don't tell our prime minister that. But yeah, so we were gone yesterday. I ended up making some lineups. I had a decent amount of Dallas too last night. I had them at about 7 or 8%, and they were at 1%, and they were the nut stack last night. They were the reason why I made profit because the other games were all snooze fests. But yeah, Dallas, they looked good yesterday. They scored 5 power play goals. I don't think they're going to maintain that pace for the rest of the year, but geez, 7-0 loss. Hopefully, if you guys were playing DraftKings yesterday, you were on the Stars a little bit. They were priced pretty well. They actually projected pretty well for us too. So again, if you guys subscribe to our Patreon, you have access to all of our DK's projections and the sheet. The sheet super helpful for outlining the lines and salaries, values, everything. So if you guys had access to it, our projections really liked Dallas too last night. So I ended up getting into a few of them, and it made me some money. I think some of the other guys too were like top 20 in a few lineups. So hopefully you guys saw the Fantasy Puck logos at the top last night. Let's jump into the first game tonight. So Canadiens Canucks, the Canadian division theme with all the high scoring games, and these two teams have definitely been the front runners for that. We saw some pretty crazy scorings, and we'll just start with the Canadiens over here. So Montreal won. They've been super unimpressive this year. I just feel like they score one goal out of the team's 6 all the time, but I'm definitely going back to them again tonight. I just can't get off of them. They're super good 5-on-5. Their correlation together as a liner is really high. So if one of the players scores, it's very likely that Tatar and Gallagher, Danault, one of them get a point on the goal. So I really like Canadiens won again tonight. They're good cheap value. Gallagher does get ownership just because of his high shot volume, but yeah, definitely give me some Canadiens won tonight. I think I can see myself getting to Canadiens 2 tonight just because of the short slate. They don't project too well now that all the prices are a little bit higher, but if they go against that Canucks second line who looks to be terrible defensively, I can definitely see myself getting to some Canadiens 2. And then Canadians 3, guys. So, I mean, you guys know they were really good 2 nights ago. I actually came third in the mini max, won a couple $100 with the Canadians 3, just because Toffoli had 2 goals, 2 assists. Armia had 2 goals, 2 assists. But yeah, Canadians 3 tonight. They're going to be high owned. Going against the Canucks depth. I'm going to get to some of them tonight, but I'm not overly excited. I think the ownership's just going to be a little bit too high for a third line, and there's no way Toffoli maintains this goal pace. And on the defensive end, so Jeff Petrie, 6,500 tonight. Like, he's good. I get it. But he's at the same price range as Brent Burns, Roman Josi, John Carlson. He's just not in that category for me. So I'm going to be underweight on Petrie tonight. Shea Weber, he's just not putting up the numbers that we saw the last few years. So I think tonight could be a night where you're just playing mid-range D and higher price stacks. Overplaying the 2,500 D and the high price D. So we'll see what I do tonight. But I like Ben Sherratt. He plays a ton of minutes, plays on the penalty kill. Canucks shoot a bunch. So I'm definitely getting to some Ben Sherratt tonight. And then for some reason, we have Carey Price at 4,200. If he was at salary, he'd be the best goalie tonight. But if we can get a little salary check here, I can do it well.
I'll double. He's 8K.
8,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Price tonight. I just think he's a solid goaltender, but this game is going to be high scoring. So just be careful. I think I would just put Price as either a one-off goaltender in some of your stacks, or with your Canadians lineups, in hopes that Montreal wins like 4-1 or 5-1 tonight.
So I'm going to talk about Jeff Petrie to start, because he is the highest priced D on the slate tonight. And the reasoning for that is because he has 7 points in 5 games. So the guy's been on an absolute tear. He's also seen a fair bit amount of shots, and a couple blocks here and there, but like 6,500, unless you truly believe that Montreal is going to win this game by scoring 7 goals again, I would probably just stay off him because of the price. Like get a higher owned, not a higher owned, like a higher priced filler stack to go with your Canadians lines, instead of paying 6,500 for Jeff Petrie, he will not maintain this pace. I could be wrong, but it's ridiculous right now. He's over a point per game as a defenseman, but he is the highest priced D on the slate. So if you want to get to some Petrie, you can, just because he's been absolutely crazy lately. But I would rather pay my money or use my money in other ways. Price at 8K is a great price, no pun intended there. I think the Canadians definitely favor this matchup just because of their depth. The third line has Corey Perry on it, which kind of leaves me a little hesitant with Corey Perry sliding in there. I don't think he's anywhere near the Corey Perry that he used to be. But we'll see what happens tonight. Obviously, Montreal 3 is going to be owned because of that Toffoli recency bias.
Couple outliers.
But yeah, I'll definitely get to some Canadians 1 and 2 tonight for sure. I really like the matchup against the Pettersson line if Suzuki's line goes against him. I think Josh Anderson and Drouin are going to absolutely run over that line. So I like Canadians 2, and like Mike said, like Canadians 1's kind of been slow, at least to say. Especially if they get the matchup against that Horvat line. I think Danault's a good defensive center. Horvat's a good defensive center. But I think I would rather take the Canucks first line in that matchup, especially.
All right. So yeah, the Canucks side, we see a couple line changes. I have seen a lot of questions about Pettersson. I've been reading a lot. A lot of people have been saying that he just doesn't look the same. But I can definitely see a turnaround from him at some point this season. So yeah, Canucks 1, Horvat first line with JT Miller and Besser. Pretty good line. Horvat's been unbelievable recently. He hasn't seemed to slow down at all from that awesome series against St. Louis, I think it was last year, where he scored some huge goals for the Canucks. I think he had like 9 or 10 goals in playoffs. It was crazy. But yeah,
great in the playoffs.
But yeah, Canucks won tonight. They're priced pretty well. No one above 7K. They're going to play a bunch of minutes tonight, a bunch of time on the power play. All 3 of them have power play 1 correlation. So I can definitely see myself getting to Canucks 1. I do think Montreal is kind of a difficult matchup just because the defense are, big and strong. But it seems like these games have been high scoring and they're kind of ignoring defense altogether. I just looked. This is the highest total on the slate tonight, with 6.5 goals from the Vegas lines. So looks like there's probably going to be a bunch of ownership on this game. So I would kind of be a little bit careful. I'm taking too much, or just doing 3 stacks. I think you might have to get a little different tonight. But line 2 here, you see Virtanen down there at 3,000. Pearson's price is continually going down and down. And Pearson is a high shot volume guy, so I'm assuming he can go back to his normal production. Same with Pettersson and Virtanen. They could actually be a pretty valuable stack, actually. But they do have a really hard matchup against that Suzuki line, assuming that's who they're playing against. They've been really strong this season. But just because, for pricing's sake, and because it's a short slate, I'm definitely going to get myself to some Canucks too tonight. And on the defensive end, so Tyler Myers, I said this in our private group chat. Tyler Myers could be a really, really good play 2 nights ago because we saw Edler and Hamonic out, and he ended up getting me like 25 or 26 points, jumped me up to 3rd place. And I can see myself getting to some Myers tonight again, just because with Edler out and with Hamonic out, all those big 3 that we see here, Hughes, Schmidt, and Myers, all played way more minutes. So definitely give me some Canucks defensemen tonight. I think Schmidt's pretty good at 4,600 as well.
Yeah, it'll look like it'll probably be Demko in net for the Canucks tonight after, or sorry, not Demko, Holtby in net after Demko saw that 7 goals against the last time these teams played. So it's probably Holtby in goal for me tonight if I'm the Canucks. Tyler Myers, a good pickup there by you a couple nights ago. Like these are the things that are going to give you advantages over other players. Is when you see injuries with specific teams. Okay, who moves up in the lineup? Who's going to get more minutes? And Tyler Myers obviously definitely was a good payoff there, simply based on his price, right? Quinn Hughes at 5,800. I think if you're taking that first line, he's a good correlating D. You've seen that first line also go off on the power play as well. Bo Horvat's just been absolutely great. Like if you have this guy in your fantasy hockey league, you're loving everything that's going on right now with Bo Horvat, especially being moved up to the top line. So, but I'm still going to keep taking Pettersson. I think he's too good of a player to just ignore, even with playing with Virtanen and Pearson. They may not be the strongest defensively, but I think it's definitely going to see a lot less ownership than the first Canucks line. And if this game is just as high scoring as it was, or as we think it's going to be, just with the Canadians putting up 7 and defense just absolutely going out the window in this North Division, I think both the first and second lines for the Canucks are good options. And you see Hoglander go down to the 3rd line, unfortunately. That was a guy that Mike was pretty high on with his rookie sleeper picks there. So we'll see how that goes. He hasn't been doing too much up on the Horvat line, and as we see Pettersson get dropped to the second line there, Hoglander also gets dropped. So I'm probably off the 3rd Canucks line altogether.
All right. So I just did just looked at the Montreal-Vancouver game from last game. So it looks like Myers played 24 minutes and also had 16 penalty minutes, but he had 8 blocks and 2 assists. Hughes played only 21 minutes. I think they're on the penalty kill quite a bit, so that's why. Oli Yuli-Levy, so he's the high priced prospect, I think. Yeah, 5th overall in 2016. So he played 22 minutes, which is good to know. And then Nate Schmidt, 28 minutes. So that's pretty good. I know Dovidas in the chat was all over Chatfield. He played a whopping 4 minutes. Looks like he actually got hurt though. So anyways, we'll move on. Flyers, Bruins. I think the Flyers lines are the same they were last game. There was like some last minute complications, but they ended up going back to what they were rolling with. Farabee, Hayes, Voracek. So they're still priced, like they're still a little pricey. I feel like Voracek just hasn't done too much to impress me. Farabee has came back to life after the 4-point game, and people were panic picking him up in fantasy, which, I mean, blew my mind. But just a really tough matchup here against the Bruins. We did see 9 goals in this game. It was just like Bruins would score, Flyers would score, Flyers would score, Bruins would score. It was just nonstop. But yeah, don't mind the Flyers here. Just because it's a short slate, they are priced pretty well, but we just don't project them too much. So I think if I'm going anywhere tonight, it's going to be line 1 and not line 3. I just can't see myself paying $5,400 for Konechny right now. I know he's hot, and I know he has a couple points, but you know me and my minutes, I just don't like players that play 14, 15 minutes a night. So yeah, the Flyers are just in a tough matchup tonight. I'm going to take a little bit of them just to be contrarian, but yeah, they're just in a tough matchup against the Bruins. And on the defensive end, so something I really want to point out is people need to stop hyping up this Eric Gustafson. He only plays 17, 18 minutes. I don't know where the hype is. I get he was good 2 years ago, but he's not the same player that he was 2 years ago. And Travis Sanheim, guys, he is first pairing now with Provorov. He's been playing 25 minutes. I think he scored 10 goals in a season at some point. He is a high shot, high block guy. I think he's one of my favorite defensemen at this price. So if you're going to be paying up for a top defenseman tonight and you're looking for someone to punt like a really cheap price, I don't think you can go wrong at all with Sanheim. And then Hart and net. I always like Hart in every night. I just think he's such an elite goalie. He's someone that can save games at any time. So yeah, give me some Carter Hart tonight, 7,600. It's a tough matchup, but I think the Bruins had a ton of shots last game. So definitely get into some Hart tonight.
I definitely agree with the Carter Hart take. I think he's just solidified himself as an elite goalie, so I will continue to take him, especially with a very deep Flyers team. He's just been lights out this season, even though he's had the on game where he's let in like the 4 goals or 5 against the Bruins, right? Like it ended in a shootout, but I'm interested in your Voracek take, Mike. He had 3 assists last game, recency bias coming into play, but yeah, him and Hayes looked like they were clicking pretty well if you watch that game at all. But I still like the second line a little bit more. Like Patrick Lindblom, Konechny, they're probably not as good defensively, but if they see that Krejci line again, I'm probably not as inclined to take them. But the Giroux, Van Riemsdyk, Lawton line is definitely priced down, and you get JVR and Giroux on both on the top line power play, I believe. Let me just double check that right now. But the first line is also solid, right? Like they're all kind of like meshed together. It's kind of in a blender right now. You can, if this is going to be another high scoring game, like definitely make sure that you have some Flyers all together. And pardon me, JVR is not on he's not even on any power play. That's weird. He had a power play goal, I believe, last game. It's hard to keep track of everything with the lines being in a blender. Yeah, JVR power play goal from Voracek and Hayes. So, well, it's just an absolute mess with the Flyers right now. But I do like the matchup against the Bruins. I think we might possibly see more of a low event game this time, but you never know, especially with the way the Bruins have come out of the gate so far.
All right, I'm just gonna answer some stuff in chat here quickly. You guys made the Dobson call, won me money on that call. You're welcome.
Power play 1, baby.
Power play 1, yeah.
2,900.
He's in my video coming out tonight, so I like Chatfield. Should I trade Price for Markstrom? I probably wouldn't.
No.
Dovidas, is that
Montreal
really from the
looks
Pirates?
fantastic.
I wish it was really him from the Pirates. Just a super fan. Hi, is there any good Coyotes players that could be worth a pickup? Chikrin is taken. Maybe like Nick Schmaltz. They're not too exciting. They spread their time out a lot. Oh, a lot of people are on Garland, eh? Darlene looks broken. Thoughts? I don't know. He's playing a lot of minutes on the power play. I think it's just a matter of time before he starts putting up a bunch of points. There's just no other options there that can take over Darlene's spot, so I still like him. Then hopping over to the Bruins side here. So DeBrusk is still skating on the top line. He actually looked pretty good last game. The Bruins were relatively unowned, and I had a decent amount of them. I did like them. I do like Bergeron. I wish his price was a little bit lower. Like, I feel like this pricing they have on the Bruins, on Marchand and Bergeron especially, is still catered to them having David Pastrnak on their line. But definitely going to have some Bruins here. I just think it's too hard to pass up their upside and how good they are, especially Bergeron and Marchand. And then line 2. So line 2, I actually had quite a few shares of them 2 nights ago, and they were really good for me. Our projections like them a lot. They had a ton of scoring chances. They're producing a lot 5-on-5, so I'm definitely going to get to some line 2 here. Line 3, for some reason I had a little bit. I think they just project like decent, and they fit well with some of the more expensive lines, but I actually had them, and they were like 0.06%. I might have been the only person to take them. But it was kind of a mistake. So Matt Grzelcyk is out tonight? Is that what I'm seeing here? Anyways, yeah. So if Grizz is out tonight, I mean, McAvoy's not bad at that price. He plays a ton of minutes. I'm not really a big McAvoy fan at all, to be honest. I just think he's kind of overrated. But I can probably see myself getting to some McAvoy tonight, given the D on the slate. I just don't think there's too many options. So I think he'll give you a little bit of an ownership advantage, just because I don't think too many people are going to be on him. And then Halak at 7,600 is always a good price. All Boston goalies under 8K is just a gift.
Yeah, Boston's a solid team, and if it looks like McAvoy's on power play 1 with Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci, and Nick Ritchie, who I'm surprised is there, but
No, you're not.
anyways, Grzelcyk is out, so McAvoy is probably your go-to D if you're taking that first line there, and the first line does look good. I think no matter what matchup they get, they didn't see a lot of success in the last game, but I'm still going back to them again this game. I just think Bergeron and Marchand are too dangerous of a duo to stay off, especially in like a 5-game slate like it is right now. So I'm definitely going back to some Bruins. I really like the second line as well. I think even though Krejci's 5K, I think he's seeing power play 1 time, and you get a little bit of correlation there with Ritchie as well, seeing that top power play. And then Jack Studnicka brings the price down at 3,200. So that's not a bad filler either, especially like you guys are going to have to get creative tonight, especially with the slate being so short. It's only 4, pardon me. It's not even 5 games. The 5th game's on right now, Tampa, Columbus. But I'll have some McAvoy just because like you're going to need to correlate your D with the Bruins. So I'm probably off the third line, though. I don't know how I feel about that take.
I was the only guy that had them, I think. I swear to God. 0.06% ownership.
Wow.
I don't even know how it happened. I think it was just like a McKinnon line with Makar, and then it just gave me them because they were like min price.
Who knows? They could be the nuts tonight, guys. Like, especially with the takes that Mike's been saying as of late. He's been spot on. So,
all right. So, Kings Blues. Let me just see a question here from Justin. Who's the best? Pacioretty, Hall, Panarin. Probably Panarin and Hall. You can probably get something for Pacioretty, I would say. Yeah, I actually wanted.
Just has like a crazy shot volume, right?
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about Zaboral. He played like 21 minutes last night. He might be min salary. I think he was one of the first round picks in that crazy good 2015 draft where Boston had 3 picks and they all busted. I think DeBrusk was actually one of them. I don't think DeBrusk is a bust, but given how good that draft was, but. Yeah, Zaboral is not bad. Not a bad punt defenseman. All right, Kings and Blues. I think, yeah, we got an Iafallo price change here. I wish he was that price.
He was not 2,900.
He should be. So, yeah, Kings and Blues. So, I think the Kings are a much sneakier stack than we're going to be giving them credit for. We see Kempe now on the top line. He played a lot of minutes last game. Iafallo and Kopitar are playing over 22 minutes a night right now. And the Blues have actually looked pretty bad defensively. I think not sure how much Pietrangelo plays a role in their defensive struggles right now, but yeah, definitely give me some Kings 1. I think they're priced very good tonight. They play a bunch of minutes. They're all power play 1, so I can't see myself getting off of the Kings 1 tonight at all, to be honest. We got to update the minutes here. Sorry, the projection here. 1 second. What's the price? 15K is a little pricey, but I can definitely see myself getting to some Kings here. I just think they're going to be unowned, and I can see them scoring 2 or 3 goals tonight. So definitely give me some Kings 1. Kings 2, I'm not going to have any of. I just think they're going to be in their defensive zone the entire time. When I watched the Kings game against, I think it was Colorado, I didn't notice them one time. The only person I noticed was that first line. Like Iafallo, Kopitar, Kempe were all over the ice. And then third line here. Nothing exciting. Elias Anderson's kind of a bust. And Drew Doughty, 6,300. He scored last game. He's playing 28 minutes a night right now. I think just given the slate and the ownership, I think I can actually see myself getting to some Doughty tonight. He just plays so much, and if the Kings do have some penalties, I do think Doughty's in line for the shot or the block bonus tonight. And then Cal Peterson, 6,800. He's probably the 10-foot pole goalie tonight, but I'm definitely going to have some of him. I just think, given how small the slate is, I don't think the Kings are actually as bad as we give them credit for.
Like Mike said, like the first line of the Kings is going to be underowned. Like they're going to look at that matchup, and most people are going to think, okay, St. Louis is going to run all over this team. But if the top line can net a couple goals, like you're going to see yourself jump up a lot in terms of placement when you take your DK's lineups. Just because like the price is high for Kopitar, I think still at 6,400, and people are just like I said, thinking it's going to be a one-sided Blues game, but that's a sneaky play, and I like where Mike's headed with that in terms of just ownership in general. Not too sure how I am with the Drew Doughty take there. I still think he's a little bit pricey for me, but on a 4-game slate, maybe I'll get to a couple stacks with my Kings 1 there. But other than that, I'm probably just off of the Kings 2 and 3.
All right. We usually just skip over them. This might be the first time we've actually talked about them.
That's true. That's true. It's just been terrible matchups for them.
Yeah. So the Blues side, I feel like the Blues have just been underwhelming this year. I've seen a couple people comment asking me about Jordan Kyrou and Zach Sanford. I get there on the first two lines, but I don't think the production has been there to where I'm overly excited about them. But if I'm going anywhere tonight, it's probably going to be Blues 2. I just think that the O'Reilly line is going to have a tough time against the Kopitar line. They're a pretty good defensive line on both sides. So if I'm going anywhere tonight, I definitely want that Shen line against the Kings' depth. I think they have a lot of opportunity to control the puck in the offensive zone against the Lizotte, Carter, Athanazeau line. So I'm definitely going to have some Blues too. They're just really cheap, and I can definitely see them going off tonight. Blues 3, I just feel like we haven't seen, like, if I were to tell you last season that Hoffman was 4K, you'd probably tell me I'm crazy. And now he's just like been sitting at this range the first like 2 or 3 games he's played. I'm definitely going to do some digging while you talk about them just to see how productive they were the last few games. And see if we can find any outlier performances. Anyway, so on the D side, Krug is playing a ton of minutes on the Blues. He just hasn't done anything. I think the Blues were fourth for power play goals last season, and I don't think they've even scored one this year. They just are not the same Blues team we saw with Pietrangelo there. I don't know what's going on right now. But, I mean, the season's still early. The sample size is still small. But I definitely love some Colton Parayko tonight. He is such a good defenseman. He has upside to get a few points every night, and the shot and block bonus probably has one of the best chances on any given slate to give you the shot and block bonus. So definitely give me some Parayko tonight. I think Falk he's a little too pricey for me. I just think Falk's ownership is too high just because he had that 8-shot, 2-goal game. And then we saw him at like 16% the next night. It's crazy. But we do project Falk pretty well. I actually just changed his minutes on our total projection, so he's going to project a little bit better than what we show here. But yeah, I just don't think I can get to too much Falk today. But he is a good play. I just think the ownership's going to be a little too high for my liking. And Jordan Binnington, probably the shakiest goalie in the NHL. He's like the biggest one-hit wonder after that playoff performance. And I just feel like he's come back down to earth and is now like a little bit above league average for goaltenders. I wouldn't put him in the category of a top 10 goalie, but he's definitely in the best spot tonight. The Kings shoot a bunch. They're a pretty weak team, but I just can't see myself getting to 8,400 Binnington tonight.
Last game in the 2-1 Sharks when Benny had 37 saves and a 974 save percentage there. So I'm gonna get to some Binnington tonight, especially if the Kings continue to shoot like they have shown in the past. Love me some Colton Parayko, especially for 5,200. Usually we see him a little bit more priced up, but I think anywhere around 5K he's a slam dunk for, like Mike said, you have the shot or block bonus. So I like him tonight. Probably not going to get to too much Falk. Vince Dunn, if for some reason you need a cheapie, I don't think he's the worst option just because he sees a little bit of power play time and his minutes have increased slightly, I believe, over the past couple games. So as Mike digs for that line 3, I'm going to skip over them because it's a weird line for me as well. But I definitely like line 2. I think Shen and Schwartz are good offensive upside players, and they're capable enough in their own end to just get the puck back and then move up the ice. So I like line 2, and as the Kopitar matchup against O'Reilly as well. I like being able to take Perron just because he shoots a bunch. But O'Reilly's kind of had a not as prominent as a start as we'd like to see from him as well. But I'll give my take on the third line. I think they're all power play 2 correlated. so that gives you something. I don't see them being great at 5-on-5, but against the Kings third line, I would definitely take some of them just because their salary's pretty cheap. Like for 9,800, I look at the Kings line that's also priced at 9,800, and I just think 9 out of 10 times I'm taking the Blues third line there.
Yeah. So something I want to mention here, just did some digging. It looks like Hoffman actually played with O'Reilly and Perron for a bit last game, probably towards the end
Oh,
of the
really?
game because they were losing. So I'm not sure if we'll see that again today, but it's definitely something to look out for. I'm not sure what Daily Faceoff has, but if we see before lock that Hoffman is on the top line, if you guys are following our Twitter, we're going to definitely be updating that because that's something really important to look at. And I do think if Hoffman's playing on the top line, that they're probably Blues one's probably the best play of the night. So yeah, one defenseman I wanted to. Oh no, never mind. I was talking about San Jose. Jeez. And then to your point about Bennington, are you going to talk about his 22 save, 4 goals against game, 930 or 830 save percentage?
It's been a shaky start, but I don't think I don't think I'm gonna count him out just yet. You know, I think it's like I said, we're not even 10 games in, right? So I'll kind of get more of a beat on him as we progress through this season. But I still think he's a good play, especially against the Kings.
All right, fair enough. If you guys are liking the stream so far and liking the content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be doing this almost every day. Just going to exclude Sundays or days that we are unavailable. But yeah, looking to do this six days a week. Give you guys our fantasy advice, our Draftkings advice. I'm also streaming tomorrow night. So if you guys have any questions with regards to the first 2 weeks of fantasy, any trades or anything, save those all for tomorrow night. I'm gonna have hopefully a long live stream depending on the outcome of people in there. But yeah, definitely look forward to that. So the final game, Senators and Jets. So this is where all the ownership's going to be tonight. This game and I think the first game, the Habs and Canucks. So Senators, looks like Norris and Batherson have actually come up quite a bit in price now. They were both like at 3K, and that line was super cheap, and they were super chalky. But yeah, definitely give me some Senators one tonight. I think it's just too hard to ignore the Brady matchup against the Jets, and he's consistently producing scoring chances, high danger chances, everything. And they all have power play 1 correlation. The Jets are just a brutal defensive team, especially that Scheifele line. They're just consistently can't get it out of their own end. And when they do produce scoring chances, but they're just struggling on their own end. So I'm definitely going to have some Senators 1 tonight. I think Senators 2 is still a pretty solid price here. They project pretty well for us. I think Stepan's projection's a little bit inflated just because of his Coyotes numbers, but I'm probably going to have some Senators too. I would love to see Laine on the second line for the Jets. He's just a brutal defensive player. But yeah, give me some Senators 1, Senators 2. I can't see myself being overweight on the Senators 3 line here. Dadonov is, again, he's inflated just because of his Florida's numbers. It looks like he did come back down to earth. I wasn't too high on him at all in fantasy this year because we haven't seen him without 2 superstars on his line. So, and then on the defensive end, Thomas Chabot. He was my highest owned D 2 nights ago, and he got 1 shot on net. He played 30 minutes. He had 1 shot. He didn't have a block. He didn't have an assist. He had 1 shot. So I don't know I don't know how I feel about Chabot tonight. I just think it's a really good matchup against the Jets, but man, 1 shot. I think he's a little bit over projected, but we'll see. And then I would assume Murray's starting tonight, and we don't have his numbers here. It's just hard for us to put the goaltenders because of no one's really confirmed until a little bit later. So, yeah, give me some Senators tonight.
Yeah, one guy I want to highlight actually is Nikita Zaitsev, who has had 5 points in 4 games played, but that's not exactly why I'm on him. He's seeing a lot of increase in his minutes. Like his last 4 games, he's seen over 20 minutes. He's absolute block machine. He's starting to shoot the puck a little bit more, and it's paying off offensively. So I think for 4,500, especially against a weaker defensive team in the Jets, I don't think that's the worst play either for that price. And his ownership will definitely be lower. I don't know too many people who are just gonna absolutely jump at the name like Nikita Zaitsev, but I agree with Mike. I think Dodonov is definitely come back down to earth with him not seeing that top line with Huberdeau and Barkov last year. So I'm probably off that third line altogether. I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the first couple games, but I'm just not seeing the production right now, so I'm going to be off that third line completely. Probably as well as the second line. I just think there's better options to go with on this slate. With like, I'd rather take a Bruins 2 who's 11.5. It saves you $100 there than the Sens 2. But give me some Sens 1 tonight for sure. I think, like Mike said, like there's a reason why we're so high on Brady, because he's the best at getting these high danger chances. Shoots absolutely so many. And then Norris and Batherson are priced up, but I think if they're playing with Brady, I think that's fine. And we have seen a little bit of production out of them. So it depends on the matchup. Also, I feel like if they get matched against that top line, who is kind of meh defensively, I think Brady's gonna be in for a good night tonight. So it'll probably be Murray tonight. I can't see them going to the backup. Hogberg, I think his name is. And we'll see who the Jets start, because that'll be
Probably I would assume Hellebuck.
You would think, yeah. I'm gonna check his price just real quick, Murray's price as well. So Hellebuck is actually confirmed at 8,200.
Okay.
Which is like, that tells you everything there is, and Murray's at 7,200. So I feel like this is gonna be another high scoring game. So I'd probably want to stay off of Matt Murray. He might actually be my 10-foot pole defense or goaltender tonight, just because of the threats that are on the Jets team, and it's probably going to be another high scoring game.
Fair enough. Okay, so the Jets side, I like Jets 1 again tonight. They saw a ton of ownership last game. I think they were up at 27%. I think in my contest, Scheifele was 30, Wheeler was 26, and Connor was 20. So it's just crazy high ownership. I'm going to have them tonight. I'm just working on my correlation sheet for lines that correlate a lot. So if one scores, do the others also score? So the Jets were actually one of the highest correlating lines that I found so far. So I'm definitely going to have some Jets 1, just because I think it's really easy to stack them up, and they're produce all together. So if one does really good, the others are likely to do good. So definitely give me some Jets 1. I'm just digging a little bit into their game last game. It seemed like they actually struggled a bit 5-on-5. And I think that has to do with going against the Brady line. I just think he's so good. He's just such an offensive threat. He plays the body a bunch. He's always creating chances. So it looks like the Jets 1 did struggle a little bit. But Jets 2 here, they dominated last game. And they were pretty good. I think they had 2 or 3 goals. A lot of my stacks that came in the top 200 were Jets 2 actually. So I'm definitely gonna give me some Jets 2 tonight. I think the ownership's gonna be low, other than Ehlers. I think Ehlers is still garnering quite a bit of ownership, just because people, especially on Draftkings, I think it might even show that Ehlers is on the top line. So yeah, definitely give me some Jets 2 tonight. I'm a little bit more off Pionk than I am off of Morrissey. I just don't like that Pionk's playing power play 2 now, but he is seeing a bunch of minutes. But I can definitely see myself getting to more Morrissey here, just because of the power play 1. I'll probably have Morrissey with my Jets 1 stacks, just because they all correlate in the top power play, and it's kind of hard for me to get away from that. And then, so Hellebuck's 8,200 tonight?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, he was like 7,500 against the Senators last game.
It was wild.
I had him at like 25% ownership, and I can't believe he was at like 8%. Like, he's just such an elite goalie. It's going to be hard for the Senators to score. But yeah, definitely give me some Hellebuck tonight. He's probably the best goalie on the slate.
Yeah, I like Connor tonight. I like Connor every night, even though the Jets D is pretty bad. I think it just shows that he sees a lot of shots, and he looks poised and ready to get right back into that elite goaltender form that he was in last season. So I like Connor tonight as well for 8,200. The Pionk Morrissey situation, it's just whoever sees power play 1 for me, I think. So it's going to be Morrissey for me tonight at 4,800. And I think Winnipeg 1 is going to be the chalk, and I think it's good chalk. Again, like, even though they're in a pretty bad 5-on-5 matchup against the Brady line, I think that line just has too much potential to score goals, especially on the power play. Even though last game against Ottawa, all of their goals came from 5-on-5. So the line two as well. Like I would look down at the score and I would just see Kopp's name pop up way more frequently than I would have liked to seen that night. So I'm definitely going to have some Jets too as well tonight, even though you don't look at that line and necessarily see like an elite shooter or an elite scorer, but they seem to be clicking very well and taking advantage of that Senators second line.
All right. So I'm just gonna answer some questions here in chat. Who you compare Tim Stützle to? It's so hard to compare an 18-year-old to someone, but I don't know. I would say sort of like, I don't know if he's like a big goal scorer or a big playmaker, but I feel like he's someone that really likes to control the play and likes to have the puck on his stick a lot. So I would say someone like Eichel, but I mean, he's definitely not an Eichel caliber player right now. But I feel like Eichel's just a guy that loves having the puck on his stick, loves controlling the play, and he likes to run a line by himself. So I can see Stützle being something along the lines like an Eichel. Do you expect Dahlin to bounce back? I do, yes, absolutely. Wings fan here, have to resort to watching 2008 replays. What about like the 2000, like the early 2000s bloodbaths against Colorado? I actually watched a rivalry video on that recently. It was sick. Just so many fights, and Claude Lemieux crushing people from behind and getting jumped by Kirk Maltby. I think it was him. Or Darren McCarty. No, it was Darren McCarty jumped him. Larkin is fun, so you got that. I love Larkin. I think Larkin's so good this year. So many people are just don't give him credit because of the team he's on.
Matthew, I think Winnipeg one definitely has more opportunity to score with Boston going against a deep Flyers team and Carter Hart in net. But you got to remember they're going to be probably more likely to be higher owned than Boston's first line, right?
Yeah. Dubois. Yeah, Dubois is in COVID protocol. I think it's 7 days he's on it for, just because he's moving to a different country now. Will Pionk or Morrissey be better? I have Pionk, and Morrissey's not owned. Yeah, for Pionk, what goalie could I be able to get? I think like you could actually get like a pretty good goalie for him. Maybe like Hudobin, Grubauer, Markstrom, something like that. You could probably. I think that's fine if your goaltending situations is like kind of poor, and then yeah, you can definitely add Morrissey. I think Pionk's more of a point upside guy, but I'm curious to see what Morrissey's going to be like on the first power play. All right, favorite line tonight.
One line. I'm probably going with. I'm gonna go a little bit off the board.
Oh.
I'm gonna go Sens one. And I know that we were high on Sens one, but I don't think they're gonna be super chalky tonight. And I think they definitely have a good opportunity to put a couple in with the Jets D being pretty bad. So I just think Brady is just poised to go off tonight. Just a gut feeling. I don't know.
Yeah. I was actually gonna go Sens one, but I'll say I like Jets 2 as a value stack, and then I think I just have to go back to the Canadians 1 again tonight. I just can't. I just think the Canadians 1 they're too good 5-on-5, so they're not priced up.
Favorite D tonight, Mike?
Favorite D? Oh man, there's not many. There's the D pool tonight's thin.
It is.
I'll say higher price D, Colton Parayko. I think he's solid tonight. And then Travis Sanheim's going to be my highest owned low price D by a long shot too. He played like 27 minutes last game and played 25 the game before. And he's someone that we really liked last year because his shot production was super high. A lot of goal upside too. So you?
Yeah, I was gonna go with Parayko, so it looks like we're just both on the same wavelength tonight. But I also think if Sens 1 are gonna have a good game, I think Shabbat's gonna bounce back here and have a couple apples or see a higher shot volume than he normally is. I think as a defenseman that plays that much, I don't want to put him in the category of those empty minute type players yet, but it's looking like it, and hopefully he proves to be a good value, or not a value option, G6K, a good D option tonight.
For sure. Oh, Dubois is 14. Yeah, that can make sense. I haven't looked too much into it actually. Claude Lemieux is a player agent for a couple of the wings. Mort Snyder wondering if they can get Draper to negotiate. That's so funny. I heard. I know Spit and Chicklets was saying that like no one liked Claude Lemieux. Like everyone on the team just like didn't respect him, but he was just so good, and like probably I think he's a Hall of Famer. So. Kim's back in here telling us about the Anderson McDavid trade. I feel like at this point you're just trolling, but I mean
absolutely. There's no way.
Because I think this is like 4 or 5 days in a row now where the trade has just gone through, like today. So
yeah, Kim just loves jumping in and triggering us.
Unless Kim's in like 7 fantasy leagues where he drafted Freddie and was able to trade Freddie for McDavid in all 7 leagues, but all right, so it's just some final notes, guys. We do have our Patreon set up, so if you guys want to see behind the paywall our rest of season projections, some exclusive content, we're going to be coming out with a podcast. And then if you guys want to get access to our Draftkings projections every day, our Draftkings projection sheets that we set up, and it looks super nice. It's all behind the paywall on Patreon. If you guys love the content, you're making money, and you want to help support us, feel free to head over there. We do have 2 tiers set up right now. We're looking at setting up a 3rd one. If you guys need some last-minute updates, some goalie changes, or just general fantasy advice, follow us on Twitter at @fantasy_puck. We definitely have a lot of people tweeting at us now and asking us questions, and I think Dovey Das, the guy who runs our Twitter, has been doing a great job. So definitely follow us on there. And then if you're not in the Discord yet, head over to the Discord. It's been actually bumping. We're at about 30, 40 members now. Lots of hockey talk going on in there. I try to get in as much as I can, but it's a little bit hard for me with everything going on right now. So I'm doing my best, but I think the Fantasy Puck community is growing and growing at a decent pace right now. So if you want to become part of it, head over to our Discord as well. Any final notes there, Mr. Christopher?
Yeah, I just think if you guys aren't in the Discord, definitely get in there. Like, it's just an easier way to reach us than having to wait for a stream to go live. Or Mike's just been absolutely on nose to the grindstone lately with his content, so good on him. And he doesn't always have a lot of time to reply to comments on YouTube videos or anything, even though he does a good job at that to begin with. So definitely come to the Discord, ask whatever you want. The team's here to help you guys, and going forward, we want to keep building that community and having you guys create good discussion in the Discord. And we're starting to see that now. It's starting to pick up. So definitely get in there if you guys have any questions, fantasy hockey related, DraftKings related, and just come to us, and we're here to help you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming on Sunday, guys. So yeah, look forward to that. Also, I want to ask you and the stream before we leave, guys. Can everyone say their hat trick predictions for tonight? It's something that I want to start doing. I kind of forgot about it until now, but I want to hear everyone's hat trick prediction for tonight. Just before we head off, and then we'll say ours after. So I'm gonna think about mine. But any last minute hat trick predictions here? Oh, so I think everyone might have.
All right,
might be out.
I got mine.
Okay,
it's okay.
We'll get that going on the Twitter. Okay, so my hat trick predict. Okay, we got Travis Konechny, Jordan Kyrou.
Ooh.
Donnie said Kajula last time, so this is going to be the common theme.
Or that.
Dude,
Shea Weber.
Okay, Ray took mine, but.
Oh.
Okay, we got some good ones, guys. Konechny again. Tartar sauce, I like that. A little bit off the board. All right, do you want to say yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kyle Connor.
All right. So mine was Horvat, but I think just for that sake, I'm going to change it up. I'll say my prediction tonight is Mike Hoffman.
Oh,
Mike Hoffman at 4K.
You think he's going to see that top line?
I don't know, but that's my prediction. So we're gonna start doing this
like
prediction thing. We're definitely gonna get it more going on the Twitter account. We'll get everyone to tweet their hat trick predictions. Just something that could be fun, and maybe someone's gonna hit and get it right. So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in today, and I'll have a video posted tonight, and I hope to see all you guys in my stream tomorrow night. So, see you later, guys.